Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So I like reacting to the Lady C and Phil Dampier segments on GB News, and this one didn't disappoint. So we've all heard the Air Force One story by now, how Meghan and Harry tried to hitch a ride back to the US with the Bidens on Air Force One, allegedly. Many were wondering where that story came from, who leaked that story. The article never said anything about it coming from, someone in their circle, a colleague, a friend, a member of staff, nothing like that. And Lady C has now revealed that it came from the Democrats. It came from the circle of people within the Democratic Party. And they want to make it clear in no uncertain terms that they want nothing to do with Meghan Markle. So let's take a look.
Now, Lady C, you're hearing that the Democrats over in Washington are actually desperate to distance themselves from Meghan Markle. Tell me more.
Well, yes, but not only in Washington, Dan, also in California. My understanding is that the Democrats are the ones who leaked the Air Force One scenario. But even more important, I have been hearing in the last 36 hours that Gavin Newsom has been harassed by Meghan to such an extent for her putting forward her idea that they should allow her to step into Diane Feinstein's shoes, which would incidentally give her access to the Intelligence Committee, because that goes along with the seat, and Diane Feinstein is a member of the Intelligence Committee. And he's got so fed up with her persistence that he has given instructions that her calls are not to be received and not to be passed on to him. And he has personally blocked her from his mobile phone.
So that's the governor of California. So you're hearing the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, who was believed to be a big supporter of Meghan and Harry, is now distancing himself from the couple.
Yes, well, especially from her. She's the one who wants to fill Diane Feinstein's shoes. She wants to be parachuted in as the temporary senior Democratic governor. Sorry, not governor, senator for California. Wow. And this gives her access to the Intelligence Committee. Which, of course, immediately means that she and Harry would then have to have their IP status restored in Britain. I mean, she's extremely conniving and clever, but she's outsmarted herself because they've had enough of her and they don't want to know. She's been told no, and she is incredibly persistent, evidently. Yeah. And he has given instructions that she is to be blocked.
So Gavin Newsom has blocked Meghan Markle. He is no longer taking her calls. He has instructed his staff not to put her calls through. And apparently she is after Diane Feinstein's job. Now, Diane Feinstein, she is getting on a little bit. And Meghan is seeing that an opening may be occurring soon. So she's, like a vulture, hanging around, waiting to slip in without any experience, without any track record, and without even having the right motive for the role, which isn't anything new when it comes to a lot of politicians anyway. But still, apparently the Democratic Party want nothing to do with her. They're trying to distance themselves from her. And clearly, this is pretty embarrassing. The governor of California wants nothing to do with you. Apparently, they're the ones who leaked the Air Force One story to let the public know that, this is what they're like. This is what they're doing. And Meghan has made it clear from very early on, even from before she married Harry, that she has political ambitions. Remember when she first sat down with William and Catherine, Harry, and they were dubbed the Fab Four, and that was a huge mistake. She was already talking about Time's Up, Me Too. They were supposed to be highlighting causes. They were supposed to be talking about the direction they were going to go in terms of highlighting these causes. But she made it political by talking about Me Too and things of that nature. And many said that that was the moment where she threw Catherine under the bus, because she presented herself as the feminist, as the rebel, as the one who's going to stand up and speak for women while Catherine remains silent. That's how it came across.
What's interesting is I hear a lot of people saying, when speaking about girls' empowerment, finding and knowing their worth, or women's empowerment as well, you'll often hear people say, well, you're helping women find their voices. And I fundamentally disagree with that, because women don't need to find a voice. They have a voice, they need to feel empowered to use it, and people need to be encouraged to listen. And I think right now in the climate that we're seeing with so many campaigns, I mean, with Me Too and Time's Up, there is no better time than to really continue to shine a light on women feeling empowered and people really helping to support them, men included in that. I mean, it makes such a tremendous difference. So, I guess we wait a couple months and then we can hit the ground running. But up until then, I'm pretty excited.
So even from very early on, she was, showing hints that she wanted to get involved in politics, even as a working royal, who are supposed to be 100% neutral when it comes to these matters, who aren't supposed to weigh in on political matters at all. But, she didn't get the memo. Then after they left the royal family, were no longer working royals, they still took their titles with them though, and they were using their titles to weigh in on politics too. They were using their titles to have access to senators, to have access to the House Speaker, writing to Nancy Pelosi to talk about family leave. Now, we know that she doesn't care about family leave, doesn't affect her. She can afford as many nannies as she wants. But of course, she was using that topic, another bandwagon, to advance who? Herself. That was her only goal. So she wrote to Nancy Pelosi with the letterhead saying the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Or maybe it was the Duchess and Duke of Sussex. That would seem more appropriate for her. Using royal titles to interfere in American politics. Yes, she's an American, but she's also a member of the royal family. And if you're going to write to the House Speaker, maybe you shouldn't use your royal titles. Maybe you should write to the Speaker as an American, not as a British royal. So again, making it very clear why she wanted those titles that she probably has to give up if she wants to advance her political career, actually, but not before she has used them to their fullest extent to get ahead. And of course, even though she was a working royal, somehow we knew her position on President Trump. We knew that she didn't care for him too much. She never turned up to an event, when he came to the palace. She never turned up. Harry went. And, for some reason, even though she's supposed to be neutral when it comes to politics, we knew in no uncertain terms that she doesn't like Trump. And clearly, the feeling was mutual.
I'm not a fan of hers. And I would say this, and she probably has heard that, but I wish a lot of luck to Harry, because he's going to need it.
Both Meghan and Harry have interfered in American politics, encouraging people to go out and vote, speaking about the First Amendment, knowing full well that a war was fought here so they wouldn't have to deal with royals interfering in their business. And Phil Dampier goes on to explain why politics is a bad move for Meghan and why people won't take her seriously. So take a look.
So, Phil, it's interesting, isn't it? Because you've got Lady C talking about the political friends falling away. That documentary, really brutal documentary, Famous but Friendless, on Channel 5, talking about the Hollywood friends falling away. What's your take, Phil?
Yeah, good evening, Dan. I didn't actually see the Channel 5 documentary, but Ross King's been out there many years, hasn't he? And he's got some very, very good contacts. So if he's saying this, I tend to think that, he knows what he's talking about. But fascinating stuff there from Lady C about the Democrats not wanting to touch her with a barge pole. I think that seems to be the pattern. We talked about this a little bit last week, and I honestly think her best bet would be to stick to the lifestyle, get the TIG up and running again, do some commercial things like that. I don't think she's cut out to be a politician. Trump was an exception. Lots of people have been asking him for years to stand for president, but he was the only person who's been able to come in and do it without any previous political experience. Ronald Reagan was involved with the Actors Union in Hollywood. Then he became governor of California for 8 years, and Hillary Clinton was a senator beforehand. I don't think she's got the hard work ethic to do all that, all the groundwork to make her a potential president. So to me, it's just a non-starter.
Yeah, and of course, that Diane Feinstein situation is potentially coming quite close, because I believe she's about 89 years old or something now. So potentially that Senate seat will become very appealing.
I cannot for the life of me understand why somebody who cannot take any criticism would want to go into politics. Can you imagine? They will be brutal. She will get destroyed. And for some reason, she thinks it's a good career move. I agree with Phil. Perhaps focusing on the TIG would be a good move for her. It was successful initially, and now with her royal, titles and everything, it will be even more successful if she puts in the work. And that is the main issue. They have a reputation for having a bad work ethic. And I'm sure politics is a lot of hard work. I mean, everybody knows when somebody becomes president, for example, they age by about at least 10 years. You do the before and after photos. They age ridiculously because it's a stressful job, which is why it's practically elder abuse that Joe Biden has been put in this position in his current state. But anyway, and this is somebody who doesn't have a very thick skin. I mean, let's be real. She doesn't have a thick skin. So she doesn't have the attributes that will make her a good politician, that will make her able to withstand the criticism, the scrutiny. We know they don't like scrutiny. Neither she nor Harry. She wants to get into politics, but she's very big on cancel culture. She doesn't seem to respect people's First Amendment rights. We saw what happened to Piers Morgan, calling ITV and basically getting him fired. Jeremy Clarkson, he apologized and they threw the apology back in his face. Can you imagine how she would be if she got a little bit of power here in the US? It would be ridiculous. So no, I'm glad the Democrat Party have shunned her. I mean, it was clear from very early on that the Democrats weren't interested. Apparently Hillary was a fan of theirs initially, but Michelle really didn't seem to be much of a fan. I mean, she defended the royal family after the Oprah interview, saying that family is everything. And, there are other ways to resolve these issues rather than taking it so public. She alluded to that. And she wasn't invited to the Obamas, to Barack Obama's birthday party, even though her birthday was on the same day. There was rumors that she went to lunch with Michelle Obama when she first came to the UK, and that was debunked. So who put those rumors out there? Maybe it's something that the Obamas don't care too much for. And then even when it comes to Spotify made it clear that if you look at the work ethic of the Obamas, there's no comparison. Harry and Meghan didn't put in the work, yet they wanted the Obama money. They wanted the Obama success without the work. If she wanted to serve, she would have remained a working royal. There was no bigger platform than that on the world stage. And she threw it all away because she wanted it on her terms and it was denied. So she thought, I'll get it myself in Hollywood. And now they're a laughing stock. They have a bad reputation. Hollywood are shunning them, and so are the politicians. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video.